State of the Union Address by President Barack Obama. Okay. One thing stands out to me, very expected, and that is this new government bond that is available for the citizens of the U.S. to invest in. And you cannot, as he said, lose your money. It will yield a small return, but it will yield some return, so it's better than nothing, right? That was the point. And it's not like investing in the stock market, because you can lose your money in the stock market, but these bonds, these are government bonds. These are safe investments. So he's out there pushing for this new bond product. Why would you need to do that as a country? Why would any president of any country need to come out in a State of the Union address and tell its citizens, hey, we've got this new bond product? Because a bond product is the same thing, basically, as when we have our treasury auctions, because we need to borrow $10 billion this month extra, so they go and get a $10 billion worth of bonds, treasury bonds in that case, put them out for auction, here's the percentage of interest they pay, how many people want them, and then those people give the full money for them, and then they get payments back over an X amount year, etc. period of time. And I think there's 1 year, there's 10 year, there's a 30 year, and then at the end of the term you will have absolutely been paid back plus your interest. But you can't ask for your money back at any time during the period. The period has to come by. So if you got a 10-year bond, you got to wait 10 years before you get your investment back. But in the meantime, you will have accrued some interest. But again, if it's 2%, I mean, inflation's far worse than 2%, even though they tell us it's not. It's always 2%. So all you're essentially doing is nothing. And if that's what you're doing, put your money in your damn bank account, for that matter, or to put it in your safe is even better. Put your own money in your safe. It's secure there. And if 5 years down the road of you sticking your money in the safe, you decide, man, I really need this money right now. I had an emergency, I had a problem, I had a job loss, whatever, I need this money right now. You can go get it. With a bond, well, you can't do that. Now, sometimes they have the plans where you take a massive loss. If you take a massive loss, we'll give you some of your, or most of your money back right now, but you're going to take a loss on it. So, why even waste your time investing in some turd that doesn't do anything? The reason that he had to come out and tell you about this great new product from the United States Treasury, this bond that everybody can invest in and save in. It's completely risk-free. It can never go to zero. You can never not get your money back. You're not going to take a loss. That's because of everything I've been talking about lately, from Lindsey Williams to stuff I read over Silver Doctor, Zero Hedge, about mainly the currency reset, the currency problems. And I just read the Webbot report, which is uploading probably as we speak, part 1 and part 2. And it talks about these major problems with us funding ourselves, our government funding. We have major problems. And the world starts dumping dollars in a hurry. They don't want them either. So we really still got to do business and need to borrow money somehow. So the way they're going to do it is by issuing these bonds. This is part of the way they're going to do it. Issuing these bonds to unsuspecting, moronic American citizens who don't know any better. And I probably should use the term moronic lightly, because it's not really the citizens' fault that they're so dumbed down. It's the government, the banking system, the education system, everything. It's a big conglomerate. That is, its main goal is to keep you dumbed down and just follow everyone, do what everyone else does, don't ask questions. But OJ Snip 4 asks questions. Lots of questions. Too many questions. And they don't like people like OJ Snip 4 and others who think for themselves and can look at this and decipher what terrible outcome is coming. And the last thing I'm going to do is invest in bonds, government bonds, that I'm stuck with, that are earning nothing. And as the dollar is getting devalued and destroyed, they're going to tell you, we know you invested in this bond, 5 years ago, and the dollar's now been devalued 50%. So you're thinking, well, then I'm going to get double or whatever of my return back in the 5 more years. I got a 10-year bond. So no, because when you took the bond out, it was a $10,000 bond that you put in, and it's halfway up, so you've been paid back $5,000 plus a tiny, 2% interest, and you got 5 more years to go. Basically $1,000 a year, so you're gonna have 5 more years to go, then you'll get your $10,000 back. And you get to keep all the interest you've made over the 10 years. That's what's the beauty of this, is that big, huge 2%. And you're gonna say, but grocery prices have gone up so much, and gas prices and this and that so much, I need that money now. Can't have it now. Can't have it now. And then you're gonna realize, man, I wish, hell, I should have took that money right then instead of putting $10,000 into this turd. Should have bought gold and silver. Look what gold and silver's doing now. Or how about Bitcoin, of all things, a digital currency that's backed by nothing, that doesn't even really exist except for electrons on the internet. That's even better, which you're gonna find out it's a lot better than putting your money into treasury bonds. They have to fund the government, and you or whoever decides to put their money in these bonds are going to slightly offset the day of reckoning by a hair, because they'll be allowed to borrow a little bit longer. And then it's going to come like the other day when I showed you the little guys, the retired government workers 401k statement that basically said, oh, by the way, all your investment that you chose, no, 100% is now going into government bonds. Forcefully. He didn't ask, it just happened. Well, but he's a retired federal worker, who cares about him? He doesn't count, right? And then it's going to be, well, that person's poor, they shouldn't have put their money in that stupid bond anyways, that doesn't count. And I don't care, it doesn't affect me. Well, that's the middle class, and that doesn't affect me because I'm upper middle class, so. Oh, it's going to affect everybody. It's going to come to you, it's going to come to everybody. So that's the first step, and that's acknowledgement. What happened last night, the State of the Union speech, is acknowledgement that the day of reckoning is that much closer for the United States economy, etc., for all of us. And they are desperate to get money in because they know, as Lindsey Williams correctly said, the Federal Reserve will only purchase these bonds, these treasury bonds, for X amount of time. And as I've said it a million times already, 2011 they purchased, or was it 2012? 2011 they purchased 60% of all treasury auctions. That's more than half of our debt that we had to borrow was purchased by basically ourselves, the Treasury, or the Federal Reserve. And then the next year, the number went from 60% to 70%. Wonder what the latest numbers are going to show. And as he said, Lindsey Williams, they cannot and they will not continue purchasing these forever. They will stop. And I've been told this. That was what he was told. They will stop. Eventually they will stop. And it's not going to be some long, drawn-out time. They will stop. And that's when it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of problems. So this is confirmation of that. This speech last night, we got this new bond program we want you all to invest in. It's safe. And what happens when they pull the trigger on the stock market collapse? And everyone's frantically trying to take what they can as fast as they can out of the stock market and put it into something safer. Safe. President Obama, State of the Union speech. Well, oh, bonds. They are safe. They can't go to zero. Oh, call my broker. Get everything out. Call the 401k company. Get them out. I'm putting them into bonds. No. You need to be putting it in gold and silver. And hopefully people will recognize, or enough people anyways will recognize, that that's what they need to do with their money. Most people, sadly, because that's the way it goes, most people will not. They'll do the old thing that all the experts say, and then call my broker. Well, the safest thing's a bond because it's government backed. Oh, well, put them in there. Give me a savings bond. Give me put me in there. So then They combat the stock market collapse, which they triggered, or not combat it, but they combat the borrowing money problem because the Fed can't keep printing money to buy the bonds from us. So they need a new source. China's not coming. Japan's not coming. Other countries are definitely not coming. We need the American sucker, not the American citizen, not the American consumer, not the American, but the American sucker to come along and get some of these bonds. And right now, nobody's doing it. Hardly anyone. So what can we do to get that up? We need that. We need more. We need better numbers. We need the sales team meeting. Sales team meeting. Sales floor guys, your numbers are low. Bond sales. We need more sales urgently, or the government's gonna collapse. So we need you to work late tonight and get some more sales in here. Oh, I've got an idea. What's that, little Jimmy? Little Jimmy or little Timmy? Timmy Geithner. What do you got there, buddy? Little Timmy. Why don't we just cause the stock market collapse, since we've been propping the thing up the whole time anyways? It's all rigged. Let it go. We got to reset it anyways. That'll scare the crap out of people when they see it dumping and going down. We don't have to let it collapse all in the first day, but several days of really, really, really bad downward moves ought to get the message to the American citizens that they need to put their money in something else, which will then, they'll remember the Obama speech you gave last night, sir, and they'll go into bonds. Little Timmy Geithner, brilliant. That's why we hired you, pal. Even though you stepped down from the Treasury office, and even though everyone else has jumped ship, because they know something was coming, and that something is right now, what we're talking about. Let's go with that. Let's go with plan A. Stock market crash forces people into bonds, resolves that issue. The problem is, because people are so dumbed down, do they even know to go to bonds? Or are they just going to say, give me my money, I'll put it in the bank, and I'll sit on it? And then what? Government still got a problem. And even if they don't, and people do put their money in the bonds, so many people, do you have any idea how many people live paycheck to paycheck right now? Literally. No savings, nothing. No savings bonds, no retirement, no 401k, no silver, no nothing. Just, I got bills to pay, I live day to day, I work day to day to pay these bills, that's it. That is actually the story of most Americans. So if that's most Americans, looks like there's slim pickings for the government to force into these bonds, which leaves the rest of us. The people who thought, I'm the middle class, I'm doing the right thing, I've got retirement, I've done exactly what I'm supposed to do as an American citizen, only get forced into buying bonds by one way or another. And if all that doesn't work, that's when they come out and say, any federal worker right now, we're sorry, but you no longer have a 401k choice. We are forcing you into government bonds. And they may use the stock market crash as an excuse to do that. Because what the government does not want to happen is for the stock market to crash so bad that the people that had the money hardly have any money now because the stock market crashed, and then take their little pennies over into the bond market. No, they're going to need to do this one while people still got a nice little nest egg in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how and when they pull this off. But last night's speech from the president was confirmation that they need money. Bonds are being issued. We've got to fund the government, and ain't no one standing up here to buy them anymore. Other countries aren't doing it, and the Federal Reserve is fixing to step down from that process. And we know it's coming because we're the ones doing it, and we know exactly when that process is going to stop, as if I'm the government talking right now. So we need to get our ducks in a row now, and start figuring out how we're going to get some extra money in here from the American people, because we ain't getting it from nowhere else. Take care.